ladies and gentlemen, of course, welcome back to the NightCap. Joining me all the way in a secret location, so secret that she's actually wearing headphones and a spotlight on her. That's how far away she is, buried away from everybody. She is, of course, Melbourne, if not Australia's newest talent on the scene. She's, well, I shouldn't say new, she's been around for ages, but she is going to take Australia by storm. Of course, we've got the beautiful Shelley Segal. How are you, my darling?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm always awesome. I was born awesome and then just got better.
That's a good head start.
You know, it keeps me warm at night knowing how great I am. It really does. Now, you're
I'm just on my way home from Brisbane show, so we're driving, me and my roadies, we're driving back from Brisbane to Melbourne, and there's a flood in New South Wales, so we got diverted. We've had to drive back a couple of hours.
Do we get to see some of the roadies? Give us a wave.
Oh, want to say hi, roadies?
Hello.
Well, the rest are asleep at the back.
Well, it's not
a long drive.
It's not a tour bus unless there's people asleep.
Yeah. It's a tour Camry.
Now, the reason that you're driving back home here to Melbourne, of course, you've got a show on the 27th of Feb at the Tough in the town.
Yes, I'm very excited. So Wednesday night, if I make it back in time.
Yeah, no, we've got to get you back here.
Sorry?
We've got to get you back here. I mean, we'll have to send the chopper to get you.
Yeah, if we have to get a chopper, we might have to do that. I think we'll be fine. We're geared to head back tomorrow afternoon, so I've got a day to relax as well. And yeah, so Wednesday night, Tough in town, 7 p.m. I've got two great warm-up acts, two local folk bands, Anna Smirk and the Appetites, and Lauren Gleaser.
Yeah, and of course the night previous you've got the lead singer from Anthrax and of course the lead singer of Fozzy, Chris Jericho, performing before you the night previous. So they'll be warming the crowd up beautifully for the next night.
Yeah. Oh, great.
You know, so I'm not sure if you heard of Fozzy, but they're a pretty good international heavy metal band. But you know, can't hold that against them.
Yeah. No, I like a bit of metal for sure.
Now let's talk about this particular night. Of course, on the 27th, you're releasing a dual album and dual single. I mean, that's two massive things happening in one night.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So basically, I have these two albums ready to go, and they're very different. They're very varied. An Atheist album is like a full band kind of album, and it's got reggae tracks, and it's got folk and rock, and it's it's like a concept album that kind of talks about my experiences and my worldview as an atheist. And then the next album, Little March, is a more jazzy, bare bones, bluesy kind of record, and it was a collaboration with a US guitarist called Adam Levy.
Yes, of course, famous Adam Levy. You worked with people like Tracy Chapman and so forth, for those that don't know Adam Levy.
Yeah, and he was Nora Jones' guitarist for about 10 years, just touring and recording and writing with her, so I'm very privileged to be able to work with him, and he's a lovely guy as well. Unfortunately, he won't be down for the launch. But I think one of the songs that we do a duet for, my brother's going to fill in for him and sing with me, which should be nice.
Well, if you ever need anyone that's really good at playing the triangle, I'm your man. Like,
you're a triangle player?
I'm actually...
I'll book you in. I've got another launch coming in June, new album, so you booked in.
Happy to help. I'm really good at the spoons and the triangle. We're actually planning on releasing my own album in about 5 to 10 years, because a lot of work goes in. Like, a lot of people just think you're hitting the triangle, but there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Is it made entirely of like triangle tracks? So you layering 35 tracks triangle.
I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say Eric Clapton signed on to be there. I'm not saying that he's going to be there. Because what I've worked out is I'm going to call my band Platalica just to really sell it home. So I think people would buy into that.
Cool. Well, I'd love to be involved. So.
Look, I'm happy to hire you. You know. Because the reason I want to hire you, let's get back to you, Of course, I've had the privilege to listening to some of your music over the past week, and I've fallen deeply in love with your voice. Absolutely gorgeous. The single Saved, of course, some could see it as controversial, some can see it as the way that you just view life, but to me personally, it really sold some truths home, and I just loved it. So let's explore Saved for a little minute.
Thanks. That's nice to hear.
I made it all up. It's all on paper, so I just get told what to tell you.
I can tell you a little bit about, like, what inspired that song.
Yeah, please do.
So basically, I was walking through the streets in my neighbourhood, and a gentleman came up to me and asked if he could give me a pamphlet, and I said that depends, what it is, because I was suspicious that it may have been a street preacher. And so he told me, among other things, that the universe is 6,000 years old, and but eventually culminating in the fact that I'm going to hell and I'm going to burn forever. And it wasn't particularly in a nasty way. It didn't seem to be with any malice, but I still just felt very frustrated that somebody felt they had the right to go out into the world and tell other people that, how they should live their lives.
Yeah.
And so that I felt like that moment to me really represented how I felt overall about the imposition of organised religion in the public sphere. I feel like, everybody should be entitled to live their life by their own morals, free from discrimination. That includes whether you're religious or irreligious, or of any religion. And
or a Jedi.
Yeah. Or a Jedi, absolutely. The Force, you should be able to experience the Force to the full extent of its power without interfering from any religious lobbies. So I went home and I wrote the song very, very quickly because it felt easy. It was something that I really felt strongly.
Yeah. You had a turning point in your life, and if I have done my research correctly, around year 11. Because let's delve into your history and let's expose a little bit of Shelley here for a bit. You were fairly well raised in a Jewish household. Your father was the president of the Southeastern Melbourne synagogue. You had this Jewish lifestyle up until year 11 where something twigged in you. So can we explore that? Were you allowed to talk about that?
Sure, we can talk about anything. Yeah, I was in a very Jewish community, very traditional Jewish upbringing. Went to a Jewish school. I was in a Jewish Zionist socialist youth group. And it wasn't straight away, but the first thing that really was the first crack, I guess, in my worldview was when I learnt about evolution in year 11. Because it was, until then I really kind of just had accepted the biblical account of how things had come to be, of how we had come to be. And I hadn't really questioned it because I hadn't had any need to, because nothing had confronted or challenged it before. And this was the first thing where I just sat back and I just thought, wow, and it made so much sense. And it really goes on to explain so much more about human nature, and it's just a fantastically powerful idea.
Brilliant way to look at the world. I believe I've evolved a little bit more than most people on this planet. I can actually control lightning.
Yeah.
Do you believe me?
Well, I'm also learnt to be a skeptic. That's also a big part of my philosophy now. So I'm going to have to be skeptical on that one. But if you can provide some evidence, I'm open-minded.
Well, watch my hands, right? Nothing in my hands?
Yeah.
Count down with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let there be lightning. How's that?
That was great.
Hey. It's...
See, you just got to provide some evidence, and I think actually, speaking of skepticism, that was the biggest part of my change of worldview. And it wasn't so much, I'm not religious anymore. It wasn't, I don't believe this particular thing. It was a fundamental change of how I thought about the world, which is not to just believe things that I've been told to think for myself, to question everything, to be skeptical, and that I need good reasons for what I believe. And that is a really important part of it, and that's part of the message I want to get out as well. I'm not telling people necessarily that they have to give up all their beliefs or anything like that, but just question it. Just make sure that you have good reasons for what you believe, because what we do believe has a real tangible impact in the world and affects you, your life, and the people around you. So I think we have a responsibility to make sure we have good reasons for what we believe, not just to accept something because that's what we were told when we were brought up.
Absolutely brilliant. At the NightCap, that's exactly what we do. We explore into every possibility. We question everything, because you can't just believe something because someone told you. You know,
absolutely.
There's not meaning to get into religious debate or anything, but you flip through the Bible and there is so many contradictional terms. And I'm not just talking about the Holy Catholic Bible. I'm talking about every Bible, whether it's Jewish, whether it's the Quran, or whatever. There's always things there that don't add up. And you're right, we have to question things. You look at some of the most powerful people in play today, including our Prime Minister, mind you, who questions and is sceptical of everything. She's a confessed atheist as well. So her take on life, whether you love her or hate her, you've got to respect the fact that she does question, and there is that skepticalism in there.
And I really appreciate the fact that we live in a country where that's possible. I mean, I know in the States, like the US, which is where I've been touring and kind of had the biggest response to my album, there's no way that would happen in the US. There's no chance they could have an atheist prime minister at the moment. And it's pretty fantastic that we can have that here and it's not an issue. And that, that I can make an album that talks about this stuff and I don't have to be afraid for my life. A lot of the people that have responded to me from overseas, from different countries, have expressed that even just to hold that opinion publicly will put their life in danger. Even just to share with their closest family members how they view the world is going to put their life in danger. And I think that's something that in our country, because it's not an issue for us so openly, it's not. It's a bit, there's some subtle issues, I think, but in just the mainstream, we don't think about that. So I think it's important to know that other people are experiencing that discrimination across the globe.
And that's, from what I can gather from your music, that's the message that you're trying to sell across is, be skeptical. Have a look. Look at what your government's done. Look at what people are telling you and make up your own mind. Don't fall victim to the sheep mentality where you just follow the mob,
Yeah, absolutely. And then on top of that, I really wanted to kind of normalise the idea of atheism. I think that a lot of people maybe who haven't considered it think there's something really negative about atheism, or I think there's a lot of negative connotations associated with the word, so people think you're like a nihilist or you have no values or no morals, and it's just not the case at all. I still am very inspired by the world around me, and I have transcendent experiences. I'm moved and I'm awed by my, and grateful for my life and the world around me. And I can feel those things even without being religious or without a religious worldview. And I want people who maybe don't share my perspective to understand that and be able to see that they can relate to my experiences as well. And also to associate the word atheism or an atheist like me with something really positive like art and music and creativity.
I just love your message. I'm glad that the NightCap and yourself have met up, because I can see us spending a lot of time together. With your platform, with our platform, let's get behind you. Anyone that you ask in the music industry that I've dealt with, I don't get behind people. Like, it's just been a thing of mine where I've gone, I don't want to get my hands dirty, I don't want to be blamed for things. But I believe with yourself, Shelley, and what your message you're trying to sell, I'd love to give you the NightCap's full backing and have you back on the show and really help try and sell your message home.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's great to hear. And that's been a really cool thing about this last tour and promoting this album in Australia, has been discussing the issues with the Australian media, because I think it's hard to bring up. You know, people say don't talk about religion and politics. That's the way you keep your friends, and I think it is such an important discussion to have. And then, you know, especially if we do disagree, we need to find places where our worldviews converge and where we can move forward together. So it's such an important discussion to have, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be able to have this discussion with you and your audience, and really just bring the issues to light. It's great. Thank you.
No, look, it's absolutely our pleasure, and please, you know, we'd love to have you as a regular on the show, you know, and go from there. And you've got to admit, out of all the Australian media you've probably spoken to, I am probably the best.
You've got the best sign.
Oh, thank you.
No.
I'll put that up specially for you. I've got the best side. I shouldn't even say I was the best interviewer. I don't know. In that case, don't worry about coming back. It's fine.
I have to say, I think Father Bob won me over.
He is a good man, isn't he?
Yeah,
old Father
he's
Bob.
so good.
Not
He's
doing
gorgeous.
too well now.
Sorry?
I said he's not doing too well now, old Father Bob.
No, he's a bit ill, but I can't remember what condition he has, but he's trying to raise awareness about that as well, which is cool. And he's a fantastic advocate for secularism. I mean, the first time I met him was at the Global Atheist Convention, and actually some of the best secular advocates I've heard, and just for people that maybe don't know, secularism is about the separation of church and state. So it's not institutionalized atheism. It means that the government doesn't take a side either way, and it creates a safe space for everybody to have their views and to live according to their own their own values. So yeah, some of the best secular advocates I've heard are religious people, and Father Bob is one of them, because, you know, even if one religion is in charge at the moment, in a couple of years a different one will be in charge, and they won't be protected.
Look at Pope Benedict.
In the same way.
No, Pope Benedict had the keys to the Golden Palace, and he decided to hand them back.
Yeah, it's freedom of religion and freedom from religion, I think, are both very important.
You need to be Prime Minister, love.
That's the slogan for the secular party. I did some work for like just, you know, flyering during the last elections, and that's their little motto, and I think that's really nice.
Oh, beautiful. Look, I've gone way over time here. They only gave me 10 minutes with you, but I'm glad that you've decided to hang around and talk. But I think your bosses will get angry if I keep going, but I'd love to stay all night talking to you. I really could. But let's get the plug in. Of course, the 27th, ladies and gentlemen, which is of this Wednesday.
It's in 2 nights' time.
2 nights' time.
So it's and the doors open at 7, and the music's going to start at 7:30.
Absolutely, and of course you've got $15 entry fees if you want to get your tickets at the door, or go through Mosh Tech. And of course, you want to see more of Shelley Segal, look her up on Facebook. She's on there. And of course, www.shelleysegal.com and on Twitter. Too easy.
Thank you so much, Josh. It was a real pleasure to talk to you, and thanks to the NightCap.
No problem at all. Yeah, and I think you'll find my name's Captain, but that's fine.
Oh, sorry, Captain. Yeah, I would love to come back anytime, so just let me know.
Well, next time we'll have you in the studio, I think. That way we're not doing...
yeah. When I'm not driving back from Brisbane. Yeah.
Well, how long are you back in Melbourne for?
I'm back in Melbourne till Saturday morning. I'm heading back up to Lismore for another show.
At the RSL
and
Club, or Tats Club?
Yep, at the Tats Hotel in Lismore on March the 2nd. And then on the 5th of March, I'm heading to the US for 3 months.
Wow. Oh, we'll catch up to him over that time.
Alright, great.
Beautiful. Well, Shelley Segal, absolute pleasure meeting you. And of course, Nation, get behind her, jump on her website, check her out on Twitter or on Facebook. If you love stalking, you got nothing else to do with your day, jump on there.
Thanks, Captain.
Thank you very much for your time, my darling.
Bye.
Bye.